What to expect when arriving at your unit as an officer. When I first arrived at my unit, brand new, fresh second lieutenant, gold bar on the chest with bright eyes, I was incredibly nervous. I soon realized that officers, especially second lieutenants, don't really get the full story of what it's like when you first arrive at your unit. BOLC, or Basic Officer Leader Course, your branch training, job training, it does not prepare you for when you arrive at your unit. The whole idea of the schoolhouse is to really prepare you to be a platoon leader. And that's about it. You're anticipating taking a platoon right away. Op boards or operation orders and how to write them are the big hitter. But even then, you soon realize that the way the schoolhouse writes the orders are completely different than how the Army actually writes them. So what did I wish I knew about coming to my first unit as an officer? So one thing I want to say is, of course, this is going to be based on my experience, and experiences may vary. Some units operate fast, some acquire lots of taskings, and others are a little bit slower and they have a little bit less work. And hopefully help you brand new second lieutenants or maybe hopeful officers in what the idea of an officer means. Give you a little bit of background knowledge if you haven't seen my other videos on this. I did go to get my legs looked at after I arrived at my unit. I was an 09 Sierra. I went from basic, OCS, BOLC all in 1 year straight shot. I had about 2 weeks off. I was pushing through injuries because my legs were all jacked up, but I didn't want to recycle and start my training over again. When I arrived to my unit, I went in to get looked at to see what was going on with my legs, found out I had exertional compartment syndrome after about a 1.5 years of physical therapy. We tried surgery. Surgery was unsuccessful. We then rehabbed it after the surgery to see if that would maybe help me out a little bit. So after about 2.5 years of doing this, nothing worked. The military decided to medically discharge me. So I was never a platoon leader, but I had a lot of friends that were platoon leaders. So I'm going to give you the idea of what it's like to arrive on staff. So when you arrive, you're coming into a machine. You're a cog in that machine, and that is expected to fit into the machine and assist it in any way possible. Understand that a unit is constantly changing personnel out. One person comes, another goes. And this is constant. And even though this is new to you, it is not new to the people that are already at your unit. They are comfortable, but you will not be. And this is a very important distinction to make right away, because they're going to assume that you know more than you actually do as a brand new second lieutenant. So what does this mean? Ask questions early and often to try and grasp an idea of what's going on. It's going to take a while, but I promise you, ask those questions and it's going to assist you a lot. For most second lieutenants, you're going to arrive in an S3 shop, or the operations section of a staff position. This is the headquarters element where the unit requires multiple sections to lead things that are going on, such as ranges, ammo allocation, training, meetings, things that are going to happen in the future, and much more. You most likely will be assisting a captain or a first lieutenant in their job to help make their job a little bit easier in the S3 shop. And these captains or first lieutenants are typically one of the following. They're either waiting for a position within the unit to open up, such as a company command, an XO spot, or their KD complete and they're waiting to leave, or currently working that staff position as what we call a staff primary, or that they're the officer in charge of that position and they're getting rated time for that. 2, they've been fired, relieved, or under investigation for something and are tossed up to the 3 shop. 3, they're injured or on profile that requires them to move from their current unit, or they arrived like myself, injured and needed to be on profile. Now, here's the big thing. You can learn a lot from them, and I recommend writing down your questions in bulk and asking them in more of a one-on-one session, maybe during counseling sessions that you have, or just, maybe daily, set some time aside and ask, hey, I've got these questions that I've written down, boom, 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 knock them all out, because it can be very taxing if you're asking question just every couple of minutes when that person is working on something. Trust me, it gets annoying. Now, if you're the unfortunate one and you get put into an OIC or an officer in charge position right away because they don't have anybody in that position, that is going to be tough, because you're going to have to pick up basically where that person left off. If you have good leadership, they'll understand that you're brand new, but sometimes you'll have leadership that is just like, hey, I expect you to basically pick up exactly where that person left off because you're an officer. With that said, you are going to be thrown into so much regardless of what position you hold. My biggest piece of advice is definitely this. Take it seriously, but not so seriously that you're losing sleep over it. Think of staff as a huge learning experience that will help you make your next step in your military career easier. This may rub some people the wrong way when I say this, but take it from someone who worked staff for 2.5 years and it wasn't a KD position. The more work you do, the more it's going to be expected of you. You will be rewarded with more work because you are found to be competent. Does this mean to be a POS? Piece of shit? No. However, the more you go looking for work, the more your name is going to be brought up and you'll be burnt out before going to the job that you are meant to take. AKA, if you're a second lieutenant, most of the time you're going to be taking a platoon. Take that high-speed nature that you want and apply it to when you take that platoon over, because that is going to help you out in staying fresh a little bit longer. I've seen a couple lieutenants when they first arrive on staff, they want to take everything on. They want to take on ranges. They want to take on all these taskings and things like that. And next thing you know, they're found to be able to do a really good job and they start getting all the taskings on staff because they come up, and guess what? Most of the time they need an E7 or above to take taskings. And guess who gets plotted with that? That second lieutenant. Because you're new, you don't have many taskings assigned to you already, and you're gonna get burnt out very quickly if you start taking everything on. Now, what are some things to expect when you get on staff as a second lieutenant other than some of these taskings I'm talking about? Well, expect to run some ranges. Investigations such as 15-6s, you're gonna have to do one of those, I guarantee it. Writing op boards, briefing op boards, creating PowerPoints, clicking through those said PowerPoints in meetings, becoming an OIC for a specific event, creating Excel spreadsheets. There's so much that you are going to get tasked with. All of these are going to be a small test that are going to garner more experience, and it can be mind-numbing work at times. But staff on headquarters is a very bizarre experience as well, because not everybody is willing to help you out quite like a line unit. You know, think of running a range. I knew many soldiers at the line units that would be gladly to help out their platoon leaders in any way possible to make sure that the range can run efficiently, get fires going, and get out as soon as possible. Or just get some good quality training and fire out all the rounds that they have. However, everyone on staff has other things going on because they are tasked with other things, because most of them are either in a primary position or they are in a alternate assistant position assisting that direct primary person. So asking somebody, hey, can you be an NCOIC for my range? You may get some resistance because they have things going on. Not many people are going to come out and assist, and most people will have excuses for assisting you because of this. Now, staff is mostly a 9-to-5 job. Of course, you got PT in the mornings, but this is something to understand that, yes, take your lunch, do your 9-to-5, get your PT in. These are the things that are going to help set you up for success and give you those breaks that you need before you go down to a line unit where you're not guaranteed a lunch all the time, because as an officer, you're going to be doing a lot of work. Now, that gold bar on your chest says, I'm new to the Army. It shows you are a private of the officer ranks, essentially, and everyone knows that, at least the NCOs and the officers. You know, there isn't much expected of you because of this. However, this is your time to make some mistakes. Learn from those mistakes and never make them again, because a second lieutenant is a great rank because of this. Some units will expect you to take over a platoon right away since there is a platoon leader leaving and they need someone right away. If that's you, congrats, you missed out on the potential for staff time and went straight into the fray of being a platoon leader. Now, this is my biggest advice for those of you that are doing that. If you come in with an ego thinking that your ranger tab or your combat diving badge is going to do something for you, you need to lose that real quick. No one cares where you went or what you did, especially the senior leaders. As long as you can show up, complete your job, and give the best training opportunities you can give to your soldiers, that is what matters long term, and everyone is going to pick up on the type of person you are instantly. Drinking from the fire hose is an understatement. You know, BOLC will not prepare you for what you will experience. This isn't to be scary, but this is the mindset that you need to have of taking the bull by the horns and expect a challenge. You know, come ready to face that challenge rather than running away from it, because your soldiers deserve that. You know, everyone within your unit wants success. No one wants to see you fail. You're all on the same ship and they don't want it to sink either. That is, unless they find out that you aren't utilizing any of your resources around you, such as your NCOs and officers within your unit, and you're just running it entirely based off of your experience. Last thing that I'm going to say is don't let your staff experience ruin your idea of the Army. You know, platoons, KD, units, and staff all are different experiences within the military. You will be used and abused when you're brand new because so many people have other things going on, and it is easy to task the new person to do something. The mindset you go into your unit with is the one that will stick. Go in thinking it is going to suck, and it's going to suck. Misery loves company. But go into it thinking that each day is a new day, and obviously you're going to have good days and bad days. What are these tips? Broken down simplistically, the bluff. Bottom line up front, don't be a POS. You won't be comfortable, and even though the environment appears to be, you still got to work through it. Take on those challenges, don't run from them. Make the best environment for your soldiers to thrive in, and don't overdo it, but be willing to learn every single day. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the video. We stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sundays over at twitch.tv/SergeantMadmax, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. Be sure to tune in. If you have any questions on this stuff, be sure to leave them in the comments. I'll be sure to get to them. I try to get to every single comment as possible. If you have any other tips, maybe you're an officer that has been through more experience than I have, drop them down below. We'd love to get those going. Help the people out below. Thank you. Take it easy. Take care. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next video.
I got the shivers.